Hey, Void, how you doing? Phoebe Rizzo back once again, and making good on the promise to backfill those previous films that I was waiting for her for. So, already jumped ahead and did a couple of the later Godzilla films, but we're finally backtracking and getting to Mothra. I'm prepared. So, I... Well, want to weigh in at all first?
Well, I hadn't seen any of the old school kaiju movies, Godzilla, Mothra, or anything like that before, so we've been watching through them, and it's a lot of fun. But Mothra is my favorite because she is the best girl.
Which is exactly why I thought you wanted to weigh in on this one. Now, I grew up with Godzilla. I've been watching Godzilla since as long as I can remember. I remember being knee-high at a video store checking out Godzilla VHSs. Godzilla's always been a part of my life. So I've been familiar with Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, the whole way through. That said, I had never actually seen the original Mothra until you purchased it for me.
Really? Oh,
That's true. I had kept trying to see it, kept meaning to look into it, but it's one of those films that was just never happened to be on TV, which is, I recorded a lot of Godzilla films off TV in my youth. And the local video store had Mothra vs. Godzilla, which I saw numerous times. But never this one. So, thank you very much for finally backfilling that for me, and I'm very happy to be able to get it. And in a neat little steelbook, too. So, very happy there.
Make her look so angry on the cover, though.
See, that's the thing. Any sort of monster movie, they make them look really angry. Any kids' movies, regardless, everyone's always smiling on the cover. Have you noticed that? Like, even the villains, they're just smiling like idiots on any, like, kid movie.
I suppose.
Really, even like the grumpy characters, they just smile. I digress. I had alcohol earlier, so I'm a little fragmented right now. So, Mothra came out in 1961, and I think just barely predated Rodan. So it was one of when Toho was still experimenting with different kaiju on their own, rather than decide to throw them all together. It wasn't until Ghidorah that actually they started crossing the streams a little bit. Well, first it was Mothra versus Godzilla. They decided that King Kong versus Godzilla worked really well, so they'll try throwing Mothra, throw their own kaiju in there. And when that was really popular, they decided to keep adding to it, and then brought Mothra, Rodan, and together for Ghidorah. Mm-hmm. So, this one has kind of a reputation of one of the more touching and beautiful of the giant bug movies of that era. There was the big boom in the 1950s where everything was a giant radioactive bug. Mm. But this was right on the tail end, and has got to be probably one of the best ones of that, because it actually is a lot more heartfelt than a lot of the other films. So, plot line. Very reminiscent to Mothra vs. Godzilla, but almost a little bit of a reversal there. So, this one, the Japanese government is partnering with a fictitious nation of Ruslica, I believe.
Rusilica?
Something like that. It's the United States of Russia. It's America, Russia kind of combined together. They're not even trying to hide that. But, so, the Rusilican nation is helping fund this venture onto Infant Island, which is radioactive, but I don't remember exactly what they were looking for off the top of my head. It has been a long time since we've seen this now. But they were going there because I think they discovered a strange verdant patch on an otherwise devastated island. And they wanted to go check that out. Well, shortly after being there, they find the Shobi gene. Two little fairies that are essentially Mothra's priestesses. They were mostly interacted with by a reporter who snuck along on the voyage, who he just stowed away just because he thought something was going on and wanted to be there to document it. Well, they had a lot of reporters sneaking along in kaiju films. They did that in Son of Godzilla also, where the guy just rode up on the shore out of nowhere, or parachuted in, I can't quite remember.
Gotta get the story in, I guess.
You gotta get the story. Anyway, so they decide they investigate the island for a while and leave in peace, but the Ruslicans head on back to kidnap the Shobijin because, hey, there's money to be made, and put him on stage as the singing act. So I was kind of taking a page out of King Kong there, I think, almost.
Mm.
Well, Mothra doesn't like that, and is telepathically hearing their songs, and is soon comes to Japan as a giant caterpillar to rescue her homegirls. When the Rusilicans take the Shobijin and flee to Rusilica, well, Mothra follows after as a giant moth. And, yeah, it's pretty much the military is helpless to stop Mothra until she gets her homegirls back. She just wants to help her little friends. So, it's very well put together, very well acted, and definitely feels like it has a lot more heart than a lot of other kaiju movies. And Toho's effects for the era are still very, very well done. Their miniature work is still top of the line. And this one doesn't have a lot of the same animated breath weapons that a lot of the other ones have that do look a little more dated. So, Mothra is one of the better looking films of the era.
The jury said it was the biggest monster costume they'd ever done at that point.
Yes, that is true. And because the Mothra suit itself was massive. And you can really see that in the next one with Mothra vs. Godzilla. She is sizable compared to Godzilla. I think in the later Heisei era and later on they actually kind of shrank her down a little bit. She wasn't nearly as big in the follow-up films. And of course the music is great, and the Shobijin songs get stuck in your heads for months afterwards.
They are very catchy.
And I'm still singing them. Yeah, anything else I want to add on this one?
Oh, I don't know. I like that it's nice to have a lot of them are kind of like either a force of nature or they're just dicks. One of the two, but she has an understandable motivation.
Are you saying King Ghidorah's a dick?
Kind of.
Yeah, he is. No, wait till you get to all Giant Monsters All Out Attack. He's a little bit better than that one.
But she just wants to save her little friends and get them back and not have them be kidnapped. That's understandable.
And she's just wants to protect her island and look after her people like the guardian goddess she is.
The effects have aged pretty well. Some of the depictions of the Islanders have not aged as well.
Yes.
But 60s.
That's the early 60s for you.
Yeah. But overall, it is a very good movie and a lot of fun. Mothra's adorable. I love her.
Alright, so on the MacGuffin scale, what you thinking?
I will go... debating between an 8 and 9.
Well, if it helps for me, this one's a 9.
It's a 9.
It is very well put together, and it definitely... someone who didn't grow up with the film, but grew up with the Toho universe, it definitely feels a lot more care and thought went into this one than some of the later ones, which were just every year, boom, 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 needs another Godzilla movie. But, so this one actually felt a lot more like they were focused on the story rather than just a spectacle cash grab.
Yeah, I think you talked me into it. I'll go 9.
So 9 MacGuffins from the both of us. So, Mothra, if you've been waiting too long to see it like I have, check it out. But it's definitely worthwhile. Yeah, I think that's about it for us on this one. And see you soon, Void.